content to be there. Sun-browned and wind-burned, he had the look of what he was, an elf who had lived all of his life in the outdoors. Once, while he was waiting, he took out the bracelet and held it up to the light, reassuring himself that he had not been mistaken about the crest it bore. The map he left in his pocket. One of the healer's attendants brought him a plate of food, which he devoured silently. When he was finished eating, the attendant reappeared and took the plate away, all without speaking. The healer still hadn't emerged. It was late when he finally did, and he looked haggard and unnerved as he settled himself next to Hunter. They had known each other for some time, the healer having come to the seaport only a year after Hunter had returned from the border wars and settled into wing rider's service off the coast. They had shared in more than one rescue effort, and while of different backgrounds and callings, were of similar persuasion regarding the foolishness of the world's progress. Here in an outback of the broader civilization that was designated the Four Lands, they had found they could escape a little of the madness. "How is he?" Hunter Pred asked. The healer sighed. "Not good. He may live, if you can call it that. His eyes and his tongue were removed forcibly. Exposure and malnutrition have eroded his strength. He came awake several times and tried to communicate, but couldn't." "Maybe with time." "Time isn't the problem," the healer interrupted, drawing his gaze and holding it. "He cannot speak or write. It isn't just the damage to his tongue or his lack of strength. It is his mind. Whatever he has been through has damaged him irreparably. I don't think he knows where he is or even who he is." Hunter Pred looked off into the night. "Not even his name?" "Not even that. I don't think he remembers anything of what's happened to him." The wing rider was silent a moment, thinking. "Will you keep him here a while longer? I want to look into this more closely." The healer nodded. "Where will you start?" "Arborlawn, perhaps." A soft scrape of a boot brought him about sharply. An attendant appeared with hot tea and food for the healer. He nodded to them without speaking and disappeared again. Hunter Pred stood, walked to the door to be certain they were alone, then reseated himself beside the healer. "Watch this damaged man closely, Dorn. No visitors. Nothing until you hear back from me." The healer sipped at his tea. "You know something about him that you're not telling me, don't you?" "I suspect something, but I need time to make certain." The attendant who had served dinner to the wing rider and the healer waited until after midnight, when the people of Bracken Clell were mostly asleep, to slip from his rooms in the village into the surrounding forest. He moved quickly and without the benefit of light, knowing his path well from having traveled it many times before. He was a small, wizened man who had spent the whole of his life in the village and was seldom given a second glance. He lived alone and had few friends. He had served in the healer's household for better than 13 years, a quiet, uncomplaining sort who lacked imagination but could be depended on. His qualities suited him well in his work as a healer's assistant, but even better as a spy. He reached the cages he kept concealed in a darkened pen behind the old cabin in which he had been born. When his father and mother had died, possession had passed to him as the eldest male. It was a poor inheritance, and he had never accepted that it was all to which he was entitled. When the opportunity had been offered to him, he snatched at it eagerly. A few words overheard here and there, a face or name recognized from tales told in taverns and alehouses, bits and pieces of information tossed his way by those rescued from the ocean and brought to the center to heal. They were all worth something to the right people. And to one person in particular. The attendant understood what was expected of him. She had made it clear from the beginning. She was to be his mistress. Whoever passed through the healer's doors and whatever they said, if they or it mattered at all, she was to know. He unfastened the cage door and took out one of the strange birds she had given him. They were wicked-looking things with sharp